Well, howdy doody. That's right, we're talking about a weekly recap here. Stock market weekly recap. We're going to obviously start with looking at my portfolios, both the Robinhood and the M1 Finance portfolio. Then we're going to look at how the markets did, compare what how my performance was, and then we're going to look at a couple news articles. There's not actually much I'm covering today, but we'll take a look. Obviously, the main thing is going to be looking at the portfolio today, probably. So, one thing to note with this, first we start with our Robinhood portfolio, as we love to do. On the week, I am up 10.65%, which is crazy. It makes me feel pretty weird just seeing that. That's a massive number this week, just a massive number. And a lot of it is because I've had a lot of stocks that have been absolutely just unfairly maligned in the current environment that have been taking big hits. And there's a couple winners when you look at, let's scroll all the way down here to NEO, which is up just in the past week, up 42%. I'm now up 174% on this position. Gotta love that. Very proud of this. Average share cost of $2.07 for that. And this stock's just continuing to tear it up, so pretty excited for that, all things considered. Other than that, I mean, really everything just working together. Kohl's, Tapestry, these are stocks that have been hit hard, and they're finally showing some promise and benefit, where other companies like Facebook, Microsoft really haven't had as good of weeks, right? Investors are buying pretty much everything. I mean, Facebook up only 2% this week, but my portfolio happens to be up 10.65. As far as just what happened this week, as far as changes, not really much, actually, all things considered. We got a couple dividends paid out, one from SPHD, high dividend fund, high dividend low volatility ETF, from Power Shares, which gave me 88 cents. That's a monthly payer, and it got reinvested. We have KBWD, paid 77 cents. That's also a monthly payer. The high dividend yield financial portfolio. We have the Wisdom Tree small cap dividend fund. DES paid 20 cents. Nothing major. I only have 2 shares of that, and that got reinvested, as well as KBWY, which is the Power Shares Premium Yield Equity REIT portfolio. Paid me $1.42. That is also a monthly one as well. So that got reinvested. So pretty exciting there as those just continue to reinvest. I look to add more to those. They're still just a little bit below my cost basis, and I'm looking for a little bit of a dip in the market, which I foresee happening. I'd love to just have that happen, and I can buy more into these ETFs because they're ones that I really like. But overall, great performance this week on this portfolio from the M1 standpoint. On the week, I was up 9.83, so nothing to brag about there. But yes, there is. Pretty exciting, all things considered. I'm very, very happy with that performance. $10 paid in dividends this week. So this one is a portfolio that's really a lot more heavily focused on dividends. I didn't make any change to the alignment of the portfolio as far as what percentage takes what. So nothing major going on there. Just stocks performing super, super well. But then you see companies which is weird, like Nvidia only 0.59 up, just weird. Then other companies like my dividend companies, Apple Hospitality up 24, Apollo Commercial Real Estate up 32. I mean, come on now. These companies are just holding it down for me, right? So pretty nice, all things considered. So compared to the market, we'll look at the Dow Jones first, which actually had the best out of all the indices in terms of week performance. 6.8% up, which is massive for the Dow. Typically, you've been seeing the NASDAQ outperform, but as investors are kind of cooling off these extremely highly valued tech stocks, they're starting to get more back into the classics, the companies that are in the Dow, right? And you see this thing shoots up 6.8% this week, which is a massive growth, only down 5% on the year now. My gosh, 5% only for the Dow. Son of a gun. So I did outperform the Dow by quite a bit, which makes me pretty happy. S&P 500 up 4.9. Year-to-date down 1.14, so outperformed the S&P 500 by quite a little bit there. I love that. And the NASDAQ up Only 3.42 this week, up 9.3 on the year, which is pretty nice. I mean, if you look at my portfolios here, obviously you see good performance in terms of that. I'm not quite at all-time highs for either of these portfolios yet. My all-time high for my Robinhood was at 18,297. We're at 17,500, so there's room to grow. And all-time for my M1 portfolio, I'm up 45.66%, but that's off a money-weighted return. If you look just off the positions, I'm up all-time 14.39. So I like it, all things considered. When Robinhood, I'm up 27% all-time, and now my M1, I'm up. When I started this in 2018, to be up 14% is pretty nice. As far as news is concerned, obviously the one main point of news we want to talk about is going to be, that is right, a ridiculously good unemployment number that we did not anticipate. We anticipated a loss of 8 million jobs in May. And actually there was a rise. We rose 2.5 million jobs in May, which shouldn't shock anyone who actually is, well, somewhat intelligent, right? As we reopen the economy, people are getting back to work. It's just natural that those people that were furloughed are finally getting back to work. So that's really where that 2.5 comes into effect. And previously 20.7 million last month. Son of a gun. Unemployment rate at 13.3 compared to a consensus of 19.7. So all things considered, when you think about that, that is a ridiculous. We were going to see levels that were worse than really since the Great Depression. And we turned that around pretty quick. Actually, unemployment rate lowered from April's numbers, which is massive when you talk about economic recovery. Now, I don't think it's necessarily that we're just entirely recovered. I think it's furloughed employees returning to work, and we're going to see more of that here in June. So, very excited to see June numbers as well, but I think unemployment rate will fall yet again in June. Just pretty crazy to think about those numbers, and that's why the market today, at least, was just going all out of control. I didn't pull up the article for it, I will say. Just a random one, too. As far as TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab is concerned, they did actually finalize that deal. Shareholders proposed or finalized the deal on the acquisition from Schwab purchasing TD Ameritrade. So we see United Healthcare, just a solid company, raising their dividend 15.7%. Massive overall dividend raise for this company, which is good in a time of pandemic. For them to raise the dividend is a good sign of this company, right? They know what they're doing. We see Slack is down massively, obviously, after reporting earnings. But it announced a multi-year collaboration deal with AWS, or Amazon Web Services. AWS will use Slack for its team communications. Meanwhile, Slack will migrate its calls capability for voice and video calling to Amazon's Chime service. Slack will also use Amazon Web Service infrastructure to offer customer data residency flexibility. So, good partnership. Obviously, if you're going to be partnering with someone you want to be partnered with, that's right, freaking Amazon. Good for Slack, and they posted a really good number, actually, for the quarter, but overall, stock just got hit massive. And also, just finally want to end this with seeing here that state's attorneys who are probing Google are leaning toward the idea of breaking up the company's advertising technology business. So, attorneys want to break up this business because of the fact that they're properly targeting ads, which is, in my opinion, completely ridiculous. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous, right? This company is very smart on how they're dividing ads. I mean, that's the whole point of advertisements. You advertise to the person who you think will actually have the best chance of clicking on that advertisement. I don't think it's necessarily worth, I don't know. In my opinion. I don't necessarily agree with a lawsuit on this. It's a company doing business, how they do business. It's how they make a lot of money, right? Yeah, that's all I got for you today, actually. So it wasn't that massive of a earnings, what am I talking about, of a weekly recap. Not as massive as some things that I have, but if you know what I'm saying, currently attached. But regardless, the thing is, I hope you enjoyed this.